Let's see if we can adjust this a little bit. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Americans complete. Completely done. Let's move this underneath here. Wish I could just leave this exactly where I like it, and I have to come back and screw with it later. And then 2 that we've did the basing on already. It's the sniper and the rifle grenade guy. So that's what we're going to paint. Is we're going to paint the stands of those 2 guys this morning. Wexler and Sandusky. So let's get the appropriate color that this is going to be painted in. Get a little bit of water. Sometimes have to thin things. Unless you're trying to brush paint with AK paints, in which case, not AK paints, Emomig, in which case you'd use some cornstarch, I think, to thicken it up. I'm kidding. I don't think that would work. I don't think that would work very well. Let's eliminate that. That's funny. A couple days ago, there was nothing over here. I took everything off here. I think Saturday. Here they are again, back on the right-hand side. Happy Monday. There's something you don't hear very often. Unless you have Monday off. Well, I was on the fence yesterday about filming what I was working on in the garage yesterday into a live session. And I'm glad I opted not to film it. And the main reason I opted not to film it is because I knew it was going to be, I was going to be far away from the filming device. So if people made comments, I'd have to constantly come up to whatever the phone, or, well, it would have been the phone, it wouldn't have been the computer, and look at the comments. Plus, I knew with the amount of airbrushing I was going to do, it was going to be loud. It wasn't, it's not that it's that loud. I actually have not heard one of you guys complain about the volume of the airbrush compressor. I think it'd be really loud, but it'd constantly be going on. Silly vanilli. Well, better than a chocolate flavor. And it would have just constantly been going on. And that's because I was airbrushing a mat. I finally had enough, and I'm like, I'm going to do something with this mat that I didn't even know what size it was. This felt mat. Furby does stuff. The military man. Yeah. Thank you, man. That's what we do here. We paint little dudes and little tanks, and it's my therapy session you just walked in on. Good morning to you. And it would have just been going on for a long time. So I had this mat. It was literally a piece of felt. I was going to make my War Games mat because, you know, you can buy one commercially, but you just don't know what you're going to get. And you got to worry about the material. And if you, unless you see it sight unseen, buying it sight unseen, you don't know what you're going to get. And they're rather expensive to not know what you're going to get. And I've had a bad experience buying some. I just so happened that I found the one vendor in the United Kingdom that was shady. I've always had good service with people from the United Kingdom, which is where most war game stuff is. And you know, if you want to get something bigger than a 4x6, it's going to be really costly and kind of limited. So I'm like, let me go get a piece of, I think the felt was on buy one, get one free or something like that. And I got this piece of felt. I don't remember how big it was. And I measured it out, and it's slightly over 6 foot in one direction, which makes me think that was the width of the, I don't know what it's called, the cut. There's a name for it. I'm sure one of you guys will correct me. I'm not a seamstress. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just I'm not familiar with what it is. The band, the whatever. That's the limiting factor. Like you're going to have a cut on that side, and just over 6 feet, and the other dimension's about 9 feet. So it's about a 6x9. It could definitely do a 6x9. Which is really big for a war games table. Until you put tanks on it, and you're like, oh, it's not that big. So I pulled it out there, pulled it into the garage. I had some folding tables. I thought I had two. I have a 2x4 and a 2x3. I don't know. But I'm working on some of it at a time, moving it backwards and forward. It worked fine. I was skeptical that that was going to work well, but it actually worked fine. You're not putting that much paint that it goes through the other end. So technically, I have the other side that I can paint up however I want at a later date. And I found out some valuable information yesterday by doing that. First of all, it was don't make any fucking plans to the extreme, because I spent probably 3 hours out there working on it, and I don't have a whole lot to show for it. Because it just takes a while. Now, the experience wasn't unpleasant until the end. And I'm going to share two things with you if you're new to airbrushing, and some of you guys will be like, yeah, well, no shit. I do that all the time. I don't know why the fuck you're not doing it. It's like, hey, I'm new to airbrushing, okay? I'm a pro level on this. I'm not an airbrush pro. Probably never will be. So I figure I'm going to share something, a mistake, a couple of mistakes that I did. I'm not afraid to admit mistakes. I'd like to think I don't make them a second time. And I'd like to think that they're not colossal mistakes. Like oh man, you brought the house down on yourself, or you lit yourself on fire or something like that, right? It's not super stupid. But as I've been getting older, and I never feel like I'm old. I I'll be 50. What will I be this year? 54. I still feel like I'm 25 until I do klutzy stuff. And it's not massive klutzy things, but it's like, you move forward from one place to another, and your leg catches on an air cord and something falls down. Nothing major, but it's just like, why the fuck did that happen, right? So I've noticed stuff like that happens more and more, especially because when I'm working on this hobby, I'm almost always wearing glasses of some sort. Almost always wearing glasses. And when you wear glasses, you get tunnel vision. And when you get tunnel vision, you turn into mole man. So anyways, so I'm airbrushing. I'm airbrushing craft paint with this mixture that the Abbas system, which I got some more supplies to make a big thing of this, right? The mixture that is about 50-50 and everything that I'm doing. And and I could do two things. I had mixed the batch that I mixed was in a small one like this. I can mix a whole big one or a small one. My fear with mixing a big one is somehow something goes wrong and I don't get the proportions right, and I fuck this whole big thing up. So I'm like, you know what? I know what the proportions are on the little one. Let's just keep making little ones, and I can make, I don't know, 10 or 12 of these out of this thing. I mean, you could do some math and figure out what it is. This is what, 17 milliliters, and this is 200. So yeah, what is that? 15, something like that. 15, 14. I can't, it's morning math. I can't do it right now. I can make a lot of these. If I screw one of these up, I still have most of my liquid, okay? So I decided to do that. That went well, because I ran out of the other material, because I'm airbrushing a lot to get on this felt. I want different patterns on it, and I want it to be snowy. I'm thinking. And not heavily snowing, like, otherwise just get white felt and move on with it, right? And at one point, after doing it for a while, something happens, and this has happened to me before, and it's really annoying. The airbrush hits the ground. Now the airbrush compressor has this little mount that you get that has these two little tendrils. I don't know if that's the correct term. Two little holders that are made out of plastic / rubber that the front of your airbrush goes in. And what ends up happening is you're spraying and then you're out of the material, right? So you need to reload it. Well, you need to go grab the material, so you need to put the airbrush somewhere, so you put it on the holder. Well, the problem is because, I mean, we're pushing out a lot of paint or pushing out a lot of air. The compressor's still vibrating. And I put the airbrush in the holder, and it works its way out and falls on the ground. Now it only falls on the ground maybe a foot, right? Because it's on the ground. It's not like it's up on my it's fallen from up on my workbench, but I wasn't at the workbench. I'd be crammed up into a corner. I'm literally in the middle of the garage. Basically making no mess. I should say that. Everything is going just grand. No mess at all. I found the top of the cup holder so that if I'm going over it, it's not spilling out. It is such a tight fit. I'm like, I'm not using a cup holder. I'm gonna make a mess trying to get it in and out, and and then have to clean up the mess too. So the airbrush hits the ground. No big deal. It's not off a little thing. Well, one of the things about the airbrush hitting the ground, a couple things. There's two things that happen to the airbrush, and it always seems to be an issue when it falls somewhere. And it either hits on the back or hits on the front. If it hits on the front and you don't have the airbrush protector on it, which most people don't use, you could bend the needle. Not to the point where it won't work, but to the point where you're not going to get a really fine line. That didn't happen. It hit on the back. So what ended up happening, it hit on the back, is it jammed the needle into the nozzle to the point where I couldn't get it out. I mean, I literally used all this, and of course, it's two pieces that you can't get a good grip on. So I tried using clamps. I tried using everything, and it was so jammed in, and the needle didn't look like it was bent or anything, but the needle was so jammed into that nozzle. You know, the nozzle is the one that's trying a cone, right? And the needle goes through the cone to basically fill in the airspace. Couldn't get it out. Fuck with it for probably 30 minutes. Poked myself probably 5 times trying to, I finally got so mad at it, and it's like, I'm going to either destroy this if I do get it apart, or I'm going to keep poking myself. And other times I was so fucking mad. I bent the needle into a pretzel. I'm like, fuck this. I'm ordering another nozzle. I can't get it out. I literally cannot get the nozzle out. And so that's when I realized what I need to start doing. And I wasn't doing this before because I thought I was screwing with it too much and it was an inconvenience. But it really isn't the case. Ever since I've been using this fluid, I don't ever have to clean the machine out very often. So I'm going to start using the handle that goes on the back and the protector of the cap on the front. The front of the needle didn't get messed up. It's still not messed up. But I've never used that cap thing on the back to extend your grip. I'm like, what the hell do I need that thing for? Well, it's to protect the back of that needle when it's sticking out, that it doesn't land on that and jams it forward. So anyhow, yeah, it's a pain that I got to buy those two things, but what are you going to do? Hey, I used it for a long time without having to buy a needle for it. So, and then I'm not going to go into town. I'm just fucking Amazon it. And it said it was going to get here today, but they lied to me. It's going to get here tomorrow. So there won't be any airbrushing tonight. So it's going to be a while before I get that mat done. Let's put it that way. I was so pissed. I told my wife it's a good thing you weren't here last night, because I'm not used to things going sideways like that on the hobby. It's not like, oh, I painted something wrong and I fix it. Like, you could see that along the way. It's like, fuck, all I did was like clip a cord and the fucker fell down on the ground. It only fell this far and everything went. I mean, the experience before that was like fucking awesome. And then like all of a sudden everything went sideways. So good morning, Marcus. So I bring this stuff up to let you know that, shit happens to all kinds of people. It's not like, man, that guy that does the night shift, he never fucks up on his videos. I'm sure he does. Maybe he's not so much of a klutz as I am, but I don't klutz out very often. Otherwise, I'd find it funny or whatever, but that was just annoying that happened. So, anyhow, so I airbrushed craft paint for about 2.5 hours using that fluid, and it didn't jam once. I didn't have to stop and clean it. That's pretty freaking amazing. Now, I was using about 50% of the fluid and 50% craft paint. Now, I could take this opportunity and say, Tony, you have 2 other airbrushes. Oh, I do? Yeah. The first airbrush that I got a long time ago from Harbor Freight that didn't work with a shit. The one I first got to get those DVA things. Well, the thing that sucks about it is it's all my fault. I can't blame anybody. So I can go punish the guy that did it. I know where that fucker lives. It's annoying that So use protection, kids. Make sure you use that. But, I wasn't, every time you have to take the needle, I didn't want to screw with that. But now I realize, I pull the needle out of the front. I do that, so it's really, it's like wearing your seatbelt, folks. Well, I always wear a seatbelt, but that's beside the point. Shit happens. Although I was thinking I should just buy another airbrush. Because by the time you buy those two things, you bought half the airbrush. Because I got the new 0.5 needle too that was split nozzle. I tried using that afterwards after that one got screwed up. It didn't work worth a damn because it didn't get a good seal on it. One of the things that is super important in airbrush is that whatever you're doing, you have control of the airflow exactly where you needed to do what you needed to do. If you have an air leak or it's going somewhere else, it's not going to work for you. You're going to get like bubbles in the wrong direction. And it literally will not work. So you can't just just say, oh, okay, well, I've got a hole in this nozzle. It'll just spray less precise, which would have worked for me, what I was doing. However, it wouldn't work. So the 0.5 needle's fine. Just need a 0.5 nozzle and a 0.35 needle and a 0.35 nozzle. Because it's the 0.35s that were jammed together. So shit happens, man. Look at the bright side. At least my kid didn't do it and destroyed it, and then I have to hate my kid over it. No, my daughter wouldn't mess with that stuff anyways. My daughter was never one of those kids that don't touch that. You mean this? You mean that? No, she never did that. And I don't know why, because some people have like devil children that like go, oh, you don't want me to do this thing that I'm doing right now? Yeah, don't do that. Oh, you mean this? I didn't have a daughter like that. But some of you guys do. Some of you guys have, devil children. I don't know how that happens. I have a feeling that a big part of that is telling them not to do stuff just because, and then they never trust you that, oh, well, this isn't anything that's going to cause me any harm. My dad's just on a power trip, so I'm going to touch it anyways. I don't know. I'm sure there's some of that in there. But anyways, we're back to painting miniatures with paintbrushes, where we have no problems. But anyways, I just figured I'd share that with you guys. I'll be wearing a double condom on the airbrush when we go back to it. Because it's just stupid. Like I wasn't even doing anything careless. It was just, and that's happened before. I've been on the workbench, and that you'll spray and it's going, and you're like ready to stop and refill it, right? And you put it in there, and then it vibrates out, and bam, falls on the ground. I don't know why it's so insecure, but it is. So if it were to fall and it's got a protector on the front and a protector on the back, you're protected. But it's funny because it's always like, I guess 4 feet off the ground when it's on the workbench. And I was working on these folding tables. So the air compressor, I moved around the other part of the garage, is literally on the ground. So it only fell like a foot, maybe even less than a foot, but it just happened to land on the back of that needle. Just happened to land right on that needle. No, shit happens. But again, it's frustrating because you have this idea. The most frustrating thing about it is like, I had this idea. All right, I'm going to get X amount done. And I didn't. I didn't get anywhere near what I got done while I set all that up. So I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have to tear everything down. The wife's going to come over, which, she's fine. I would have done that while she was here, but put everything away. It's not that much stuff away, but it's, fold the tables away. It was like a waste of my time. It was almost like if I knew I wasn't going to be able to finish this, I wouldn't have started it. Because I'm a fan of that. If I can't finish something, I don't want to start something. But so it was frustrating, more than you have to buy two pieces kind of thing. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of U.S. field drab. So it was a bit of a frustrating day yesterday, and then earlier in the morning, computer wasn't that program wasn't working well with the computer. It was just super laggy. I don't know what's going on. I think it's a modification to another program. So things don't work as things. Computer programs don't always work the same at the beginning and then at the end. They just I don't know. They get worn out. I don't know exactly how it works, but that's happened many times. Like I don't put on or take off that many things on my computer for that really to be an issue. The phone, yeah, the phone gets screwed with a lot, and things seem to work okay on the phone. And I don't have a my computer's not crappy. It's not like it's got one of them no name computers or something like that. But that's happened to me many times. You'll get something and like, oh, this works great, and after a while, it takes a month to load up. Like, dude, what happened? And it's not like on my phone where my wife will say, "Hey, when's the last time you turned my phone off?" And I'm like, "I don't know, 1987." I don't turn my phone off. A computer gets turned off all the time. It's not just running. Didn't get any more hobby time in yesterday after the morning session. Bummed me out. Today's going to be full on work wise also. No, it's not. You're hobbying right now. Well, you're the boss. You can say, you know what? Fuck this. I have to take a day off. I'm going to take a day off. Now, next weekend, we won't be on. It's Easter weekend, and we're going to be out of town. So um, there won't be a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning session. Or a There won't be. I won't be on at all on Saturday. And probably not at all on Sunday either. So you're working while listening to me. Well, maybe I can get you fired up and you can fire somebody. Oh man, that deserves it, not just some random person. What else did I watch? What else did I do? Oh, I watched 3 episodes of Black Mirror over the weekend. Didn't like all three of them. There's no surprise. I got two, three or four. I don't know. I got two left to watch in this season. I'm sure they're gonna suck, especially since one of them is that damn Starship one. They revisited that bullshit. I don't remember what the first one was, but I remember it was trash. Figure, well, I gotta have something to eat. Might as well watch something on TV while it's at it. Oh, I'm done eating. All right, well, let me finish watching the rest of this episode, kind of thing. And the mistakes with a paintbrush are like this. Oh, I didn't catch painting the side of this sign. Okay. Done. Now what? You know, I mean, that's the kind of mistakes you have. They're like, doesn't really matter. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like it's anything colossal. All right, we do the edge of these stands in black. So that's why I refuse on my hobby. Like, oh, we'll have this done by a certain time. I'm like, nope. It'll get done when it gets done. If it gets done, if I feel like doing it. There's too many things that you can try to do with your best efforts, and real life happens, and you can't accomplish your goal. And and I'm the first one upset about it. Well, Jeffrey sent me some pictures yesterday of this one board they had on Con, and that's what, like, well, let me fire up the Gateway to Con game that I've never played. But that was a beautiful board for vague set of rules. I guess most of the time you see like rules that are decent with boards that look like trash. But there was this one scene, there was this one part in there where they're filming this interview, Jeffrey. I don't know if you're on. You probably are. Maybe you'll catch this later. Where this kid is playing with this Panther tank, and he's just like they're all like 28 millimeter tanks, and he's like picking it up, playing with it, and I'm like, I'd lose my fucking mind if somebody did that. I'm like, it's okay to move it when you need to move it. This is not a toy. I spend way too much time painting these things to treat it like a toy. Like, nope. Not running a demo at a convention. But I'd seen that guy's work before. That Joe Bilton, and was like, oh, that's what that guy looks like. I've seen several of his boards, and they're pretty impressive. But I saw the Stalingrad one, and it's like, what a tanker in Stalingrad. I'm like, so you're going to create this terrain that's excellent for infantry, but you're not going to have any infantry in it. Okay. World of Tanks. There's another great World War II terrorist from the last day in Berlin in the battle for the Reichstag. I saw that one too, but to be honest with you, it looked like I didn't like it very much compared to the buildings look good, but like the green spaces in it look weird. Yeah, I saw that one on one of the feeds this morning. I take it you didn't go. It's a hall down there. Well, not for us, but for you guys. That's from one side of your country to the other. Or technically, depending on how you want to look at it, it's going to another country. Because you're up in Scotland. But yeah, that con thing, that's what made me pull out the Gateway to Con. And then I went and I'm like, oh my God, there's freaking bagpipe music here. It's like, I got to pour myself a couple dram. And I did. I need to see if there's a way to speed that game up because, well, it's not that it's too slow that I'm bored, but it's like you move this tank and like it won't move, you know? I swear the game wasn't that slow before. It worked, at least it worked fine. I played those games a lot. I've just never played Panthers in the Fog, Gateway to Con. The Big Red One, I've actually played some because everybody said it sucked, that they hated it. I wouldn't say that I hated it. In some ways, it's better because it's three-dimensional. You can see the three-dimensionality of the board a lot better. The three-dimensionality. Did it have the Sarissa Precision model for the Reichstag? I don't know. I think it's probably, I don't remember it. I think it was probably a custom made thing. Well, the reason I replaced the crocodile is because, and it was the right move, is because the distances were going to be too far away. So why waste a vehicle that has a flamethrower when there wasn't any opportunities for the flamethrower? That's the only reason I replaced it. You know, I didn't want to lose one to an anti-tank gun at long range, and the fact that I had a flamethrower didn't do me any good. That's the only reason I did it. Not that I disliked the crocodile at all. You know, don't bring a flamethrower tank in an environment where it's not going to perform its flamethrower duties. And I'm looking at those boards and I'm like, man, they're all long range shots. Like, that's the only reason I replaced it. The crocodile's the best looking. Well, the 7. The Mark 7 is the best looking Churchill. And I'm not going to. I have an Airfix one that'll never be built because it's missing one of the tracks. I think one of the tracks just. There was something wrong with it. And I was young and I probably would have been able to fix it now. I would have. I wouldn't have let it kick my ass. Let's put it that way. Okay, Marcus, your favorite guy here looks pretty damn good. Looks really good, actually. Let me see if I can flip this around without knocking this stuff on the ground like a klutzoid. Let's see. Let's flip this. I think that's probably a good picture of him. Of Sandusky. The other guy looked good too, but man, Sandusky looks cool. I think it's because he has more of his pants showing. So there's more different colors on him than just like this brown bag he's wearing. That's probably what it is. Like if you take somebody like this guy, you know, Hanrahan's pretty cool. Hanrahan's wearing a fucking bag. Okay? Hey, who let the cat out of the bag? Hey, did you call me a cat? No. You know, Hanrahan's pretty cool, but you can't see his pants because the overcoat's so damn long. Same thing with Bishop. You know, it's not that these guys look bad, it's just the fact that you're able to see his pants. You know, there's more to it. This guy right here. What's Tobin? Tossin Tobin. Okay, Tossin Tobin. The overcoat goes right to a line where the pants are. They sculpted full backpack gear on its sniper. Well, they were marching somewhere, and you know, it was time for him to have a sit down. You're right. He does have a full. These guys look good. I hope they're durable because, man, we're putting some effort into these guys. Now, I don't think it's. I don't think I'm worried about the rifles bending. They're pretty stiff. they weren't that soft to begin with, and they got a primer coat on them. They got the paint that's on them, and they also have this is teeter-tottery, isn't it? And they also have the clear coat, so that stiffened them up quite a bit. Yeah, it doesn't look like it has any flex. I probably could flex it if I wanted to. Let's not do that. Mine have weathered well. You've used them in 2 war games. Well, that's the other reason to make the stand thicker. You improve your chances of moving it by the stand. Okay, so let's get El Snow out, wherever she is. Anyways, there's a lot more left to paint on the mat. It's probably going to be north of 20 hours for sure. Definitely north of 20 hours. I don't care. I don't want to have to tear everything down and to put it back up again. It'll be fine. I'm learning a new skill all the way. Yeah. Okay, we don't need this. This is way too thick. Let's get this. This paintbrush will do. But I mean, I don't know many plastic figures that I have that I don't like. And I don't mean just the ones you sent me, because I don't dislike any of those. I mean, I don't think I have any plastic figures. I mean, very few that I don't like. But anyways, that's why I replaced the crocodile. Had I not done that, the one they knocked out might have been a crocodile, and I'd have one less crocodile. And unfortunately, there was nowhere to put them hidden. Because what I would have done is, if there was like a house, they'd all hide behind the house. Like, find out where the enemy is, right? Have the infantry find the enemy, and then go and suppress the hell out of whatever that is with the tanks. Not just show up like you're parked in a field and they get the first jump on you. But hey, the map didn't have that. The map was basically all open. Well, for the most part. It's like, we're going to lose any Churchills in the open. Let it not be the crocodiles. But I noticed that field looked really far away. Look like a really long distance away. And then when you get down to it, it's like 100 and I think it was like 150 meters. It's like 70 inches. That's like what, like 6 feet. Six feet in game scale. This stuff behaves so much better than the stuff that I put the goop on the stand with. I literally can, like, I want it there. That's where it goes. The other thing I didn't realize about snow until I've been in it, it's hard to sneak up somebody when you're walking across the snow. I mean, obviously it depends on if your snow is making that sound or not, but it's loud walking across the snow, or it can be. Yeah, taking the crocodiles out of that is the same thing. I don't want them to have some kind of a situation like, the Battle of the Bulge. They run king tigers through like this narrow street. Like, if you're going to get a shot at a German tank, it might as well not be a king tiger, because any tank that's going to get a side shot on it is going to get hosed. So you might as well not get a king tiger hosed. I don't want to lose it in that way. Now I need to focus, like, where is this going to be that I'm not going to put like some grass? So like behind his ass, piece of grass doesn't fit. So there might as well be some snow built up there. You just want to see people get flamed. Well, it wouldn't happen in that game. Would have been too far away. I don't think the tank got within 100 meters of anybody. I think the farthest firing flamethrower might go 40 meters away or something like that. Maybe 45. And I want to say it's like the Panzer III. I think the Panzer III is one of the farthest firing flamethrowers. Not by a huge amount, maybe 10% more than something else. And it's up on the turret. It's not just in the hull, which honestly, I'd rather have a shorter distance and still have a main armament. I think a T-34 or a Sherman is a better compromise. You still keep your 76 or 75 millimeter gun and still have a flamethrower to go along with it. That's pretty nice. A Zippo. Maybe a Stewart is a flamethrower too, right? They call them Satans or something like that. I think that's what they were called. Maybe only use those for the Pacific. The fact that I know something about used in the Pacific is that's just bonus points. My contract doesn't say I actually have to know anything about the Pacific. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I think I'm going to have just enough time to finish these 2 stands. Well, Marcus, if you say you're working while we're doing this, then shit, I could be on here a lot longer, right? You could follow along. I'll just stay home today. I'll just work from home today. Oh wait, I don't get to do that. Damn it. Yeah, if I worked from home today, and assuming I had the same amount of stuff to do from home, I wouldn't be able to be on here. I don't even listen to music at work. Like we gotta pay too much attention to detail to be having those kind of distractions. This isn't some Google Office job where I'm sitting in the corner playing with a yo-yo and on a hacky sack and a beanbag chair. Google Office. You update one of my company's financial dashboards to do your exercises in the morning. If there's extra time, my hobby. At 6:35 is when I start the breakfast duty. One of these days she's gonna have to learn how to cook for herself. One of the people in the Zoom call the other day was like, "Hold on, let me get breakfast." I'm like, "It's 10 friggin' 30, man. Like, who the hell has? That's like lunchtime, man. Breakfast at 10:30? What the hell, man? That's breakfast is 5 a.m., baby, or earlier if I get up earlier." Daughters are good. My daughter can't cook shit. She cooks more than I do. And also, if I did cook, my way of cooking would be like, all right, what can I make that has the least amount of cleanup? There's no point taking forever to cook it, a moment to eat it, and then a long time to clean it up. I'm like, nope. What's the easiest thing to clean up? I hate doing dishes. That's when I put on like an audio book or something, and then like, oh, okay, or call somebody on the phone or something. Toast. No, because you get crumbs everywhere. Yeah, toast is pretty easy. Beans and toast. No. No. Is beans and toast must be like peanut butter and jelly for here in the United States. Although I don't eat peanut butter and jelly. Um, Peanut butter is one of those things that we have, but I never eat. Not that I'm allergic to it or anything. I just don't. It's a dessert item, kind of. Yeah. The beans and toast enters the stage. Spaghetti. That's starting to make beans and toast seem normal. Spaghetti. How do you eat the spaghetti with the toast? My wife likes spaghetti with milk. Like, not together, like on a side. That would be weird. It's still weird. I'm like, no. I never think of drinking milk. I'm not against milk. It's just toast and spaghetti. Don't tell me you make two sandwiches. You put it in a sandwich or something like that. Open faced. Every time I hear open faced, I think of, man, that guy got hit by a truck and now he's open faced. Open faced and open casket don't go together. Spaghetti. So I didn't have typical American parents. So there's some things I never ate. Thank God. And Chef Boyardee. I never ate Chef Boyardee. So we had a hurricane that came through, I don't know, 20 years ago or whatever. It was about that long ago. And my wife had decided to get some stuff in case we ran out of power to eat. And she got Chef Boyardee. Never ate it because we never lost power. So several months later, let's open this up and have it. And she goes, "Oh, this is just like I remember it." I took one bite of it and I'm like, "Fuck this. I'm gonna eat dirt instead." It was horrible. Oh my God, it was horrible. It was like the fakiest tomato tasting thing I've ever tasted in my life. Parmesan and ramen noodles. That doesn't sound so bad. There's this one place in Orlando that's right next to where the convention's at. I don't remember what the name of it is. It's I would say it's traditional Asian. Well, everybody who works there is an Asian person. Um, and I don't remember what the name of the place is, but it's a really long-winded name. Um, it's got like four words in it or something like that. But they have ramen there, and you order off of like an iPad. You order off this like big iPad that's on the wall, which is great because you get to see all the pictures of everything, and you know, like I like Indian food. I don't know what a lot of the shit's called, so I'm like, I went to an Indian restaurant one time, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm ordering. Like this is in English, and I don't know what I'm ordering. Because there's no pictures. Like, show me pictures. So this place is really cool because you're like, oh, I want that ramen, and it's got the egg in it, and like I like ramen. I like ramen better than sushi. I could take it or leave it. And sushi is one of those few things that I have a texture issue with. Because if it's too like pre-masticated, I don't want to put it in my mouth. If it doesn't have enough crunch. But this place is cool because you literally order like you cannot order something there that doesn't have a picture of it. Perfect. Right? And all it took is somebody to take a picture of each thing and then put it on there. And I'm sure they get a lot of sales that way. Yeah, ramen's pretty cool. There's a place here in town that went out of business. I don't know why, because it was really popular, but it was um it was a ramen place. They didn't have a huge selection of different ramen ramens of ramenai, but um and I'm not a soup person, but I actually like ramen. And the good thing about a ramen place is they always have Japanese beer. So perfect. Ramen has a bad connotation here in the United States because we've all eaten that 35-cent ramen thing, and that's horrible. It's not horrible. It's just it's better than those SpaghettiOs. Let's put it that way. Yeah, we discovered it at lunchtime. We're like, hey, let's go to this place. And I'm like, I don't want to go to this place. And I looked at it and I looked at the menu. I'm like, yeah, I like this place. Because I don't ever have a craving for Asian food. I usually don't go, oh, I gotta have Asian food. I gotta have Chinese food. I never do. But that menu, I mean, the menu is the selling point. The way that's done, and I liked it so much that I had two other meals there. We went there for lunch. It was like on the first day on Friday, and I ended up having like I went back for dinner, and then I went back on Saturday afternoon for it. And I probably had way too much sodium, but man, it was good. And I ordered the same fucking thing too. Because one of those things that when I ordered, I just happened to order something that was awesome. I'm like, oh, I don't risk not having this again. So, yeah, that's a good place. That's a really good place. I hope they stay in business. I even wrote them a review on Google, whatever I call it. The one Italian place in the middle of nowhere that was incredible that I went to. I also wrote them a review, and they went out of business. I think the owner sold to somebody else, and they lasted like 3 months. But that place was incredible too. And this is like a hole in the wall in the middle of the country. You're like, this isn't going to be any good. But it was a guy from Italy. Where was he from? I don't remember. He was from the northern part of Italy, and he actually worked there. And it was his restaurant. I guess he got tired of it or whatever and wanted to do something different. It'd been around a while. Of course, I didn't find out about it until like 3 years ago. Wrote him a review on Google Maps that had a shitload of views on it with photos, and it went out of business. Well, I did my fucking part. You grew up in the bushes as a kid and was fostered by an old lady. You learned pretty much to eat what the rich calls fancy today. I do not miss the fish heads. Well, that's pretty extreme, but I had to eat everything on my plate, and I didn't have traditional American food. And looking back, it's helpful because I'll pretty much eat. I'll eat anything. It's meats that I have an issue with. Like there's some like I don't want to eat goat. I don't want to eat lamb. I don't like the taste of it. I don't like those gamey things. But vegetable things, I ain't scared of vegetables. I eat them all. Like my kid doesn't eat anything green. I'm like, really? Whose fault is that? What's wrong with vegetables, man? Vegetables didn't hurt nobody. Now, vegetables at school, yeah, those are trash. But vegetables at home? Why aren't your kids eating vegetables, man? All my daughter's friends were like, all she eats is macaroni and cheese and grilled cheese. Like, how the hell is this kid like 15 pounds wet? Oh, my kid doesn't like fruit. The hell do you mean you don't eat fruit? We're not asking you to eat rotted fruit. Like, oh, the kid doesn't like an apple. Why not an apple? You know how many varieties of apples there are? Like all of them. Some of them are incredible. Now, if I'm buying my own fruit, yeah, I'm gonna pick what apple it is. Those they have an apple here in Florida called, and I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's a hybrid called Cosmic Crisp. Those things are awesome, and they're not the most expensive ones. Pink Ladies, Honey Crisp, those Cosmic Crisp are still the best ones. I think there's one called Crisps Pink. Oh, those four are the best ones as far as I'm concerned. My dad, I remember he always would get the big golden, the red delicious. There ain't nothing delicious about that thing. We're painting some GIs for Battle of the Bulge. We'll call it Battle of the Bulge so people can relate, but Winter GIs, World War II. So we're just adding a little snow to them. This will be the seventh one, right? Yeah, three more to go. And I don't know if I'm going to paint these trolls. These that I've had a long time. I should probably try. Boy, they don't fit in at all. Marcus, these guys are Mars. Is that who these guys are? I think that's who you said they were. These GIs are from Mars, Ukrainian, I think. Man, that helicopter crash has been all over the freaking news over there in your hometown, there, Marcus. Your new hometown. All right, man. Enjoy making the pancakes, sir. I think you said bacon. Maybe it was just bacon morning the other day. Yeah, I gotta finish this guy up, and I gotta run too. Unfortunately, I wonder who slung emails over the weekend. You got people you can't get a hold of during the workday, but then they're slinging emails like 8 o'clock on Saturday night. Sandusky. That's like a city in freaking. Oh, wait a second. Isn't that the last name of that dude that ended up like molesting those kids? That's probably not a good name for. Well, he's not related to that guy. Wasn't that the last name of who's that assistant coach of Paterno's assistant coach? Wasn't that guy a Sandusky? Man, why do I know that? I don't know anybody who knows less about sports shit than me. Well, that was like what, 10 years ago, 14 years ago, 15, something like that. Jerry Sandusky. Why does that ring a bell? Inappropriately touched or whatever. And then we're gonna have some grass on there as well. But yeah, I like this. I liked using this product for snow. It was a good idea that that guy had, whatever his name is. Miniac or something like that. He had way too many options in that video. I watched that video multiple times. Like, man, some of this stuff is way too complicated. I had some of the Woodland Scenic stuff, and I wasn't happy with it. The granules on it is way out of scale. All right, so we got Sandusky and Wexler. We'll be putting the grass on them later on this evening and so forth. So, all right, folks, enjoy your Monday, if applicable, and we'll see you guys on the flip side. Thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.